It's Monday. Are you ready to roll? We're going to talk about some of the things when we're over 40 that we learn to roll with. I'm so excited. Let's go live with over 40. Okay, so I don't see you. Hang on one second. Let me turn this down. So I do not see you in my notifications of people to add. So at the bottom, there's two faces together. If you click on there, Eric, and send me a request, then I will accept your join request. But it's not giving me the option to add you, and we might not have gone through and set all of your notifications. So, oh, there we go. Yay, viewage accepted. A request to join. So if it's someone that I can't add, they can always send request to join. Hello.
Hello.
I'm so excited. We got it. We got it. Sound and everything. We rock. Just saying. So smooth.
How are you?
And people over 40 have no savvy.
Well, thank God we have small children who can tell us how to use stuff, right?
Right? Well, my son's 21, and I think he's kind of getting tired of my technical questions, but I don't care. So I told everybody we're going to talk to Eric today, but I don't dare try to say your last name. So why don't you do that for us?
DiFranccesco.
Okay, see, I would have butchered that.
That's all right. That's a Canadian in you. That's all right.
Yes, and I have to make a TikTok joke, because anyone on Facebook and Instagram might not realize I met you on TikTok. So this is for anybody over 40. If that's not you, scroll.
Very funny.
So we're going to talk today about some of the challenges of being over 40. Now, we're not old. No one gets to call us old. Hashtag 40 is the new 20. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But I would love for you to start off with why your passion is Keto Over 40.
Well, what happened is that I found through the years, I continue to gain so much weight. And I'm talking like I can gain 5 pounds in a weekend just by going out to a bar, just stuff that simple 40-year-olds do to have a good time, or even go out to dinner with the family. And I started gaining weight so fast. I noticed that after I turned 30, my metabolism started to slow down and my eating habits had to change. And the only way they were going to change, especially when I turned 40, was by going keto. And by me trying so many fad diets and counting my numbers for, let's say, Jenny Craig and all these other fad diets, I found that really that helped me the most was going keto. And that's definitely helped me. And even I'm noticing now that even combining a little bit of carnivore and keto is definitely what's best for me, but everybody is different.
I agree 1,000,000%. Now, the first question I would ask you, Eric, is it too late if we're 40? Because I know when I was younger, people used to always say this, life, it's all downhill after 40. So I want to talk a little bit about that. If we're 40, if we're 50, if we're 60, is it too late for us to get started with a healthier lifestyle? Is it all downhill?
Well, is it ever really too late to get in shape and want to better yourself, either mentally, physically, or your soul? No, we have to learn every day. Exactly. So we need to be able to make sure that we're following something that's going to make us healthier. So when we do get older, that we are healthy and that we don't have the dietary or heart conditions and so on and so forth that our parents or relatives have had that are elderly. And we also need to make sure that our minds are as sharp as ever, so that way we can go long-term and live long, full lives. And it's never too late to start a diet. People always ask me all the time, you're over 40, what exactly you're eating? And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of stuff that we see on Instagram are fads. Especially, there's people out there taking supplements that they really shouldn't be taking, diet pills still, and they're claiming that they're receiving the results that they're getting from doing a specific lifestyle or diet. And the truth is, you really need to start following people that really do understand what they're eating, how they should eat, and what they should take in terms of if it's collagen, if you're going to take omega-3 vitamins, B12, and so on and so forth. So you really want to follow people that are right for you, so that way you can get the benefits of having a healthy lifestyle.
Well, and I didn't find keto until after I was 40 as well. I'm 43, I'll be 44 this summer. But I will say in the last 2 years of eating keto, my skin is clearer. My skin is tighter. I literally feel like when I look at my pictures, like I'm aging backwards. So let's talk a little bit about that and some of the other benefits we see from lowering carbs and upping those yummy fats.
Well, the first thing I always say to people, no matter what, about just getting healthy, is eliminating sugar. Sugar is a cancer waiting to happen. Sugar is awful for you. You don't need it. Our bodies weren't made to have it. And the truth is that, you know, the human race has only been on this earth for a short period of time, so we really need to go back to the basics of what we're eating. So by eating keto, you are going to have better hair. You are going to have better skin. And it's true, you are going to tighten up because you are eliminating inflammations in the body that are going to make you healthier. Your joints are going to feel better, and you are going to move better. So you're going to want to exercise. And so all that together, hand in hand, are going to make you the healthiest you that you could be. And you, like you said before, 40 is the new 20, and that's really a great way to think of it.
You know, I used to think about what I would be like in my 40s, and honestly, I'm in better health than I was in my 20s. In my 20s, I was 290 pounds. I suffered from debilitating depression and anxiety and irritable bowel syndrome and PCOS. You name all of the things that every day I just didn't feel healthy. So I want to talk a little bit about when you start keto, how long did it take for you? Because I know for me, I found keto by accident. I didn't know any of the amazing health benefits. I was one of those, take a shake, 2 weeks, lose 20 pounds. My girlfriend wanted the newest keto shake. And when it came, she messaged and said, oh my God, Dory, there's a whole diet. And I was like, girl, you want to be my friend or no? I said I would drink a shake. I didn't say diet. So for me, keto was a word I'd never heard of, and I fell in love with it, and I started changing my way of eating. But I didn't know that I was going to have less joint pain, that I would be less depressed, that my body would ache less, and that my brain would work better. And for me personally, I think it only took a couple of weeks to start seeing the beginnings of those benefits. And I know you have quite a few clients, so I would love to talk a little bit about the beginning. How long does it take before you start to see some of the amazing benefits that aren't weight loss?
Well, I have friends, or my clients I pretty much consider them my friends. My clients have all had varied results. I had one client who lost 28 pounds in 31 days, which is phenomenal. And they're losing inches. And you're going to see when you go on keto, at first you're going to lose a significant amount of weight at first, just like any trendy diet, but it's about the long term. See, in keto, you're not going to lose a tremendous amount of weight, but you're going to lose inches in size. That's why it's important to track exactly how large you are and your measurements, so that way when you do lose weight long term, you're going to continue to lose that size. You're going to burn that fat that's on your body. And so my clients, the best results that they always see are the inches. They always say the same thing. I have clients who are 40 years old and they say, I haven't worn these size jeans since I was 18. I am the same weight I was when I joined the military 20 years ago. So it's amazing how we do roll back time and how we are getting younger and how our bodies are getting more fit, because we're not putting the stuff in our bodies that we don't necessarily need. And obviously keto is just a great way to live. It's cheaper than any other diet you're going to do. You're buying food. My clients always complain that I'm giving them too much food to eat. But the truth is, you got to eat. It's according to your macros. Everybody's different. What your results are going to be different. So you can't really say, oh, well, I lost 30 pounds in 40 days, or I lost 60 pounds. It doesn't matter. It's about you and your individual goal. And the only person you're competing against is a person in the mirror. And that's really who you're living the keto lifestyle for.
Yes. Well, and I want to talk a little bit about instant weight loss. Because I think that because our culture has become so dependent on shakes and pills and potions to lose weight, there's this illusion, that's the best word I could think of, illusion that, you know, if you eat healthy for 5 days, you're going to see a difference. If you eat healthy for 2 weeks, you're going to see a difference. And I will often get messages from people who say things like, you know, Dory, I've been eating really good for 2 whole weeks and I haven't lost any weight yet. I'm about ready to give up.
Mm.
So how do we battle that? Because you and I know that it's not a fad diet, and it's not, some people will see great results in the first 2 weeks, and I didn't lose any weight at all for months and months. So how do you encourage people to focus on things that are not scale related?
Well, you got to make sure that you're diligent, consistent, persistent, all that stuff. And it really is true, because determination will get you far. And we need to celebrate the short goals, the small goals. It should be a week by week basis. And I tell my clients all the time, when I give them their meal plans, I provide my clients with their meal plans. And when I check in with them and I receive pictures of what they eat, and I tell them every 5 days, the reason why I don't give you a long-term 6-month meal plan is because of the fact that your body's going to change and your body reacts differently to different foods. And so it really does take about 3 weeks for the body to go into full ketosis for you to be able to get the full results. And the truth is, if you're not eating fat, and that's a very big misnomer, if you're not eating fat, your ketosis is not going to be as good as if you were actually eating just a low-carb diet. And that's why there's a difference between dirty keto and regular keto. And you really need to make sure that you're eating according to your macros, so that way you can effectively lose your weight. And I also suggest to people that they fluctuate with their fats when they're on keto. Instead of doing 70% for a long, persistent period of time, go down to a 50-40 ratio, 50% fat, 40% protein. And that way you go in and out of ketosis a little bit. And so that way you'll actually do burn more fat that way, and you will lose more weight. And my clients have seen that and been very successful in it. And that's what makes me very happy and proud.
Well, and I think what I love the most about keto is it is so very customizable. For me, I've had a bariatric surgery, and I was able to look at my own macros, what I eat, and adjust them for my body and what works for me. So I think it's important to stress to people that keto isn't one size fits all. What works for you might not work for your neighbor, might not work for the guy down the street. So how do we combat that keto police, keto Nazi type of attitude when everybody says you don't keto right? I'm sure you've heard that once.
Of course. There are so many different people who say that keto, you're gonna have high cholesterol, you're eating too many fats. But when I was eating McDonald's every day and I was eating tons of cake, nobody cared. So, but it really is individualized according to, because it goes by your weight, right? It goes by your macros. And so we need to be able to figure out that perfect balance of what exactly you're eating. There are certain foods, though, that I say that people should not eat. I'm not a big dairy guy. I don't believe that people should eat a lot of dairy. I think people really should eat meat. I don't necessarily believe that people should eat a ton of vegetables. I really don't necessarily know if it's true or not. From what I'm reading now, yes, have broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Obviously stay away from the different starchier vegetables. Have your spaghetti pasta that's made from zucchini noodles, the zoodles or whatever they call them nowadays. All that. I love those too, yeah. So, I mean, it's really important that people are eating according to what works for them, because you don't want to eat something that, let's say, Dory eats, but Dory, listen, she says she swears that she loves this, but it may not work. I love avocados. I eat avocados in almost every meal, but I have clients that get physically ill from the avocados just because they're not used to it. I know. So, but I have to find, and that's a challenge. And that's a challenge. What I do is that I'm always trying to figure out for my clients exactly what can they eat. I have clients that only want to eat one meal a day, and they want to have a protein shake, the collagen protein shakes. So I have to work it into their lifestyle, what exactly they're eating. And I have other clients that just one today called me up. She's like, listen, I'm in the mood for I'm in the mood for turkey wings this week. No problem. I'll make your meal plan. I'll incorporate turkey wings. They don't like that. Some people don't like to use heavy cream at all and anything as a cream sauce or anything. I got to find out ways to combat, so that way I can make their meal plans as customizable for their specific needs and goals, so that way they're successful. Because it's not about my success. It's about their success.
Yes, I love that. So we got a couple comments. I'm going to scroll and read so that we can see what we got going on here. I'm just going to take a quick scroll. And, I love you. Shirley. Sherry's like, oh, nice hair, Dory. I love you, lady. I love you. Caroline wants to know what we're talking about today. And we're talking about general keto and ketoing over 40. So what would you say is a specific challenge to being over 40 when starting a weight loss or fitness journey?
I think a lot of times as us, just in general, because we are 40, you know, we have busy lifestyles, children, and doing stuff, is that it's just being able to find any specific type of lifestyle into our current lifestyle. And it's really about making it your own. Start off slowly. I always recommend to people that if you're going to start a specific lifestyle in terms of a diet, especially keto, just small baby steps. You don't necessarily have to cut out the sugar in your coffee in the morning. Believe it or not, that's the biggest misnomer. People are like, oh my God, I can't drink my coffee without the sugar. Well, we need to find an alternative for you, because alternative sweeteners are horrible for you. That's another thing that's a major misnomer. And so if you are over 40, you need to work on your lifestyle, and you need to think about your children, and you think about your future, because you really want to pass on good, healthy eating traits to them.
Sherry says, just go down to Florida. The seniors are younger than all of us. Women in their 80s, no shame wearing a mini skirt. It's never too late for that. Crying for Keto says, no sugar, hands up. And I think that's the most important thing to cut out as well. Let's see. Sherry says being fat adapted is important. So while I'm scrolling for questions, why don't you cover what is fat adapted? What does it mean? It sounds pretty magical. How do I do it?
Mm-hmm. Well, fat adapting is really being able to get your body so that way your body, does everybody understand what ketosis is first on and first off? So when you go ahead and you start eating fats, okay, and you're cutting out the carbohydrates, your body actually starts using your body fat for fuel. And so when we're eating fat and you're getting adapted to using the fat for energy, it's actually transforming your body so that way it ends up using even more fat that you have on your body. And I can assure you that all of us have enough body fat in our bodies to last us a while. And it's true that make sure, though, if you're doing the fat adaptation and you're eating the fats, that you are using intermittent fasting as well. Because intermittent fasting will actually put your body into ketosis and keep it there so that way you can go ahead and burn even more body fat.
Okay. Now, we also have a comment with Josh Moore. He's my favorite. I love Josh. He always pops in. He agrees with higher fat unless you have lots of fat on your booty to burn. And let's chat a little bit about that, because there are so many different schools of thought on this one. So I'd love to hear your opinion.
About just people who are overweight and trying to use fat to lose weight?
Yes. So is there, should you be reducing your fat if you have excess body fat to work?
Okay, so I don't necessarily agree with that. I do think that you need to keep a minimum of 50% of fat in your diet, because you need to make sure that your body is being able to release the ketones through the fuel and through eating and using your body fat for energy. If you stop eating fat, and this is a fact, if you stop eating fat in your diet, let's say you just have just a clean diet. Now, there was a big fallacy there for a while that protein was really bad for your kidneys, which is a complete and all myth. But you need to be able to eat fat so that way your body utilizes those fats to keep you satiated, so that way you don't get starving, because you don't want to go ahead and overeat and binge eat, which is a major problem with people who diet. And you also want to make sure that the fat that you're consuming is going to be able to help you burn the fat later on. And it really does assist you. Now, if you are doing the ketogenic diet for a long period of time, let's say you're doing, some people, obviously it's a lifestyle, so you're doing it for forever, right? Yes. You need to start working with your fluctuation of what your fat levels are, because of the fact that even if you are overweight or you're obese, you need to make sure that you're monitoring that, because your body will then start not using the fat like we just talked about before. And your body needs to be shocked every once in a while to make sure that when it's in ketosis, that it's utilizing your body fat properly and efficiently.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Now, Keto Cutting Board would like to know, what is your basis for limiting dairy? I know when a lot of people start keto, dairy is a seller. Bacon, cheese, sour cream, heavy cream. Dairy is a high sell for a keto lifestyle. So for you personally, what's your basis for saying you don't really like the dairy?
So I'm not a big fan of the dairy, obviously, because of lactose intolerance and stuff like that, which is embarrassing, but it's a problem, right? But the other part of that is also that cheese can also be an inflammatory for the body as well. So the
Okay.
best way, if you're going to eat, cheese has a lot of calories in it. And trust me, I love cheese. Don't get it twisted. All right. I love me a little piece of cheese and some pepperoni any day, just like anybody else. But if you're going to eat, that's a lot of calories where you can be able to get that from regular natural foods. So,
Okay.
and I'd rather have somebody eat calories in full meals and have a piece of cheese. Like I said, a piece of cheddar, I think 1 ounce is probably about 80 calories. 80 calories that could be a lot of different other things that you could be eating
Yeah.
that would be better. Okay. So, and that's something we need to think about, especially people who are starting the lifestyle. I don't want my clients, or I don't want other people starving themselves thinking that that's a diet. That's starving yourself, and that's not right. There's a difference between intermittent fasting and starving, and there's a difference between eating healthy and eating nothing and practically starving yourself. It's not right.
And dairy-free doesn't mean the end of the world either. I want to put that out there and say going dairy-free isn't the end of the world. My sister did dairy-free for a while. I did dairy-free for a month, and I literally figured out I can make it. I make dairy-free yogurt. I make dairy-free cream cheese. I make dairy-free cheesecake. You can make a version of just about anything dairy-free if that's an issue for you. And a lot of people do find inflammatory ingredients in dairy. Not everyone. So I wouldn't say, all across the board dairy is bad. I love my dairy. But when people can't have it, what's your favorite dairy-free solution?
Well, almond milk is a major, and coconut milk are my 2 favorites right there. I really do suggest that to people, especially when they're having their coffee. But because I've eliminated so much in my coffee now, I do the MCT oil, I do the ghee butter, which is great also. Even ghee butter now is getting there's also some myths out there saying that the ghee butter, because it burns at such a high temperature, that it can hurt your stomach. But you know what, it really is helpful in keeping your coffee so it's drinkable. If you're not interested in having it black. Also, though, I've used dairy-free cream cheese as well when I make my fat bombs, and I really do enjoy it. It's really delicious.
I love it. I think my favorite dairy-free thing that I discovered, and it's a funny one because it makes me giggle, dairy-free cottage cheese. And really, it's just gelatin and coconut and whatever flavor you want. But for me, if something visually looks like a food, it doesn't have to be exact. I have no issues with substitutions. If I want something, as long as it gives me the feeling and the look that goes along with the food I want it to be, I'm a happy lady. So let's talk about what's your favorite way to sub out some of everyday family dishes. So say, for example, it is spaghetti night at your house. What's your favorite pasta substitute at your house?
So in my house, like I said, I have the 2 young boys, and they love the zucchini noodles. And I make them, I'll saute those. I have the spiraler, and I saute those. And I actually make it multiple different ways. I'm not a big fan of using the red sauce because there is sometimes sugar in red sauce. You really got to be specific in what you buy. So I actually like to use a white clam sauce that I make. The kids love it. My kids love seafood, especially we're here on the East Coast in New Jersey. So the kids love the seafood. We make it with that. And also what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I will make Barilla actually makes a high protein pasta, which is also low carb, where if they want that, I'll give them that as well. But obviously for me though, it's hard. See, one of my clients, she wanted me to make pretty much for her whole family a keto menu. And I was like, okay, that's a little much for me to do. But to incorporate children into the ketogenic diet or lifestyle is important to do it at a young age. And just by doing it baby steps. Another thing that I do for my kids all the time is I do encourage them to when I make hamburgers at home, don't use the bun. It's okay. And it's really, they are learning that it is okay to use lettuce or the butter lettuce wraps and so on and so forth. So that way they don't get those additional carbohydrates that they don't necessarily need as well. And some people also say that it's unfortunate for children. They need to have a lot of dairy. They need to have a lot of they can eat carbohydrates. But look how much sugar is inside milk, regular everyday milk. There's about 23 grams of sugar in 1 glass of milk. My kids drink almost a gallon of it every 2 days. So, I mean, it really is a lot. And it's something that we need to think about for their health.
Excellent. Well, we're getting a little sketchy on our connection, so let's wrap it up. But I would love for you to tell everybody where they can find you on all of the social media so that we can follow you.
Oh, that'd be great. I'm on 40plus keto. I have .com, so it's 40plusketo.com, 40plus keto on TikTok, and 40plus keto on Instagram. And we also have the Facebook page, 40plus keto on Facebook. So I would love for everybody to go ahead and follow us there. Send me questions. I have no problems with helping anybody at any time. Really, it's not a problem. And truthfully, I just want to be able to help people. That's really why I started it. And I think it would be beneficial for everybody for just to even try it if they're interested. And there is something we can exchange in terms of information. So that way we can make the just making the keto lifestyle better for all.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for
Not a
joining
problem.
me.
I hope to do this again.
Yes, definitely. I'll make a post and see if we can get some questions based specifically on over 40 health, and let's plan to do it again, because I feel like this is a topic that doesn't really get covered enough. There are specific issues that being over 40 we deal with. We don't have the metabolism of a 20 or a 30-year-old, and I feel like if we're comparing our weight loss journey to people who are in a different stage of life metabolically, we might not be doing ourselves the best service. So I say let's get.
But you know what the thing that people need to consider is that when you see people, I went to Disney a couple of years ago, and that's actually what started my whole idea that I need to lose weight. When I was looking at my family pictures, and I was about 230 pounds, and I was very overweight. And I see all these thin people walking around. I'm like, but I see them, you know, but guess what they're not doing? They're not binge eating. They're not snacking all day on stuff that they shouldn't be eating. They know what to do. So there's many of us who sometimes just need to realize what's best for us and what we need to eat. And that's what makes you a success. And so whatever I can do to help people out, just hit me up on 40 Plus Keto. I would love to help out.
Excellent. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Have an amazing. I look forward to chatting again.
All right, talk to you soon. All right, bye.
Okay, so happy Monday, guys. Happy Victoria Day. Happy May long weekend in Canada. But I thought it would be a great day to get together and talk about being over 40. Hashtag we're not old, just saying. So I'm going to give a quick swipe so I could see any comments on Facebook. I took them off so that we didn't have double comments. So Cheryl says, I started last March when I was 53, now 54, feel better than I did in my 20s. And I will say, if you are on the fence, and if you're wondering, is it for me? Is it not for me? Give it a shot. Give it a good, honest shot. And if you don't love the keto, nobody's going to judge you. But try it. Try it and make one healthy decision a day. I decided when I started, if I made one healthy decision every day, then I was on the path. I was on the journey. We don't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be all at once. Baby steps is always the best way to go. Oh, why, thank you, Miss Kim. Kim says I look wonderful today. Thank you, darling. It's so nice to see you. Mr. Dan Quibell, it is awesome to see you today. I hope that you are having an amazing long weekend. I'm going to sign out, and spoiler alert, guys, want to know a secret? I saw a really awesome post about unicorn waffles today, and I just happen to have some cut the carbs mix and hold the carbs, not cut the carbs, and I'm gonna make us a unicorn waffle today, so stay tuned. Jory's having unicorn food for the holiday, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Taco About It Tuesday. Have an amazing Monday, guys. Happy holiday. Bye, darlings.